She was just a 15-year-old girl. 15-year-old who just got her hands on a tiny morsel of happiness. Precisely as a result of her inexperience, people who gained infinity through extraordinary means, leaving behind the respect for phenomenology. The fuck is that? Served as the perfect prey for the beast known as philosophy. Arue, rather Arue also known as Marisugawa Arue, was still oblivious to the fact. Yeah, just looping again the same thing is not the answer. The origin of the scene born by Marisugawa Arue, it might have all boiled down to a single carelessly uttered phrase. After being discharged from the hospital, she spent her days recovering at home. In order to not break her lifestyle rhythm, she ate and slept well. She would wake up whenever everyone else did. She would then have breakfast and take her medicine. She would climb back to her bed during the work and school hours. Around the same time classes started up, Arua began her own studying session. Naturally, this would fall within the scope of what her body allowed. She would have lunch and then take more medicine. Her after-school routine remained pretty much the same, except for the fact she had to take her evening medicine. Everything was programmed out according to her doctor's advice. So then, morning had come. 30 minutes had passed since she silenced her 7 AM alarm. She didn't go back to sleep instead, Aru was merely spacing out, wrapped up in blankets. They were using public housing, though they only had two. Aru's family had given her a room of her own. And the smell of the baked fish wafted in her room. Although it tickled her nose, the scent didn't rouse her appetite. There was only one purpose in Marisugawa Aru's life. She had to pass the time. She would first see her mother off to work, then brother to school. See them off. See off. After that, she was supposed to study. During her hospitalization, the confront of her lifestyle, combined with manga, had put her behind on her schoolwork. She was down over half a year. This seriously jeopardized her plans of becoming a government worker, something that already had a low acceptance rate to begin with. If she really wanted to improve her chances at a compatibility exam, she would have to take action like her life depended on it. But after seeing the two of them off, the superego influenced self-derision. That half remained within Marisugawa Arue would start pestering her. Yep, there she is again. One of the many reasons for the knock, One of the many reasons for this knock at her door. Why knocked? Okay, that's some mistranslation, I think. Alright, food is ready. I got a nice mackerel earlier today, so that's what we are having. She called out from behind the door. Your appetite still hasn't returned. We really should go see the doctor about it. Okay. I'm off to work then. I'll get some more side dishes for lunch. Don't push yourself too hard, okay? She could hear her footsteps trailing off. There was no hallways. Her room was right next to the living room. Her mother and brother were having breakfast on the other side of the sliding screen door. The sound of clinking plates seems to be rejecting her attitude. Yeah, like, she's like really having a like serious depression at this point. It's not just like just hiding to do what you like drawing manga and stuff. Like she's straight like just have a depression. It amplified her self-hatred. Her body felt great, but she was losing her appetite. Marisugawa would later claim that the reason was this very sound. As the time her brother At the same time, for her brother to leave the house approached. Anyway, I'll be heading off to school like soon. Yeah. Being kinda gloomy as of late. Sure you are not overdoing it? Yeah. Like, she's not eating, basically, like, she's not only depressed and not want to go to school, she's also, like, getting more and more guilt that like she's doing nothing basically. Like holy shit, this is bad. Wow. Damn. Like this game, it's just like one time it's like just random stuff happening all over the place, and sometimes it's so serious. Overdoing it. I believe you, but look, it's okay to take a break if you feel like studying getting too tough, alright? Yeah, she's not studying at all, huh? Anyway, you still haven't regained your strength, so don't push yourself. You can accept to do the impossible. The impossible. He told her again not to push herself. Impossible was such a convenient word. It could refer to anything and everything that wasn't possible. If she would overcome her illness, get out of bed and face the desk, then perhaps her brother's word would apply to her as well. But in Marisugawa Arue's case... Oh wow. Okay, that's scary. That laugh was scary, and the smile. Damn. That was scary. She was rolled up in the sheets reading manga. There was a pile of books by her pillow. Around the time all her classmates were at school. Meanwhile, her mother was working her hands to the bone for her recently acquired part-time job over the supermarket fish section. As for her brother, he was worrying about his little sister while getting spectated grades at his prep school. During that time, she would lose herself in manga. Wow, this is actually... Oh wow. Ooh. Yeah. No wonder she considered this like as her like a sin and stuff. Like the guilt just kept getting higher and higher there. She even went as far as making criticism that were all over her head. She had been like this since being discharged from the hospital a month ago. What did Marisugawa Arue even want to do in the first place? She had asked herself over 100 times now, but the answer always remained the same. She wanted to save her family by becoming a government worker. Yeah, that's not working with like whatever you're doing now. Like, this is like the worst possible situation like your mental state can be. Oh my god. Like, you know what you want to do, right? And what you have to do, and you are still not doing this. And then you feel like shit of not doing this. But you can't bring yourself to do this. So I keep doing like some useless stuff, like sleeping and like, you know, like, I mean like sleeping, like oversleeping because like you don't want to do anything or like do anything else outside of like what you have to do. And then you feel shit again because you haven't done anything meaningful that you were supposed to do. And this is just endless cycle, and this suck. Wow. Then what was she doing now? Being sick could still work as an excuse. She didn't know the details of her hospital bills, but that too was pretty much unavoidable. The problem was with what happened after that. The slow-core lifestyle of pretending to be sick in her room. And also she's lying that she's sick. That's insane. A life where she could freely read her manga, even if she didn't own all that many volumes. Being a shut in truancy at this point, it didn't matter what anyone called it. To put it simply, she didn't want to let go. She didn't even want to consider it. Marisugawa Aru was actually quite delicate and sensitive. There's no way she wouldn't realize that this lifestyle was putting a burden on her family. And the result was this. Oh. She decided to dive deeper into her heretical lifestyle. Partially to get it off her mind, but also to seek further pleasures. Marisagawa Arue would later be crushed by the massive guilt every time she fought back to this. Yeah, exactly, like I thought. But in that age and that moment, she simply decided to go with it. The rooftop. From the rooftop to her room. This metaphysical stairway directly connected the rooftop to her bedroom. This is so heavy, god damn it. A few months following her fall from grace, around the start of November, graduation would be in the forefront of her classmates' minds, while their conversations would mainly concern the compatibility exam. What was Marisagawa doing? She'd wait until her family left before having breakfast. At this point, her mother was leaving her breakfast out in the living room without saying a word. Once no one was left in the house, Marisagawa Arue would bring it to her room and proceed to seemingly munch away on it. The period between breakfast and when her family got home was when Marisagawa Arue's true work began. Her own manga. As her imaginary friend wasn't real, this was her very own solo work. She completely lost herself in it. Once she'd progressed far enough, she started feeling the rough scratches. She worked on her manga with no real intention of finishing it. She didn't even consider giving it any deeper meaning. But she could forget about the hardships of the real world while she was drawing. She could forget all about her sins too. So she simply continued doing it. If she remained shut in, she wouldn't be exposed to the rampart emptiness of the outside world. She never wanted to go back to school. She didn't want the violence known as apathy to break her heart. Oh, this is such a backfiring, self-destructing behavior, holy shit. Ah. And so she continued to eagerly draw. As one would expect, Arue did not study at all during this shut-in lifestyle of hers. As a natural result, her academic skills plummeted. Her anxiety towards the compatibility exam vanished without a trace. She didn't care what would happen later down the line. She had comfortably settled into this life. It felt far more comforting than the nausea she felt whenever she remembered how her classmates refused to even acknowledge her existence. Ari, today's payday, so I will go buy you your favorite chocolate cake. I just picked up the new manga as well. Wanna have a look? I've been feeling pretty good lately. I might go find another job, so I'm able to get you more things you like. My parents gave me a game. They didn't want anymore. You wanna try it with me? Yeah. Oh my god. This sucks. Like, they care for her so much and she's just like basically ignoring them. And like also betraying in a sense. Ah. At the pleasant environment, she was released from the hollow suffering. Her condition had stabilized. She could read as much manga as she wanted, sleep whenever she wanted, and her family only ever paid attention to her. It was like leaving hell behind and ascending straight to heaven. The single room of their public housing apartment was Marisagawa Arue's sanctuary. It had the perfect defenses. It was impenetrable. As such, it was inevitable. And then she snapped her fingers. That the pain she felt from lying would gradually disappear. Despite being spoiled by her family, dropping her studies and deciding not to care about the future, she still didn't feel a single thing. There's no way a guild could exist in paradise like this. Oh my god. Around the middle of December, she would graduate in 3 months. She only had 3 months before her mandatory education seal would peel off. But Marisagawa Arue didn't budge an inch. Her seal, her family finances, and her own sins, they no longer pained her. Yeah, for the time being. Damn. I mean, in a sense, yeah. At the moment, the seal on her right hand was still active. Yeah, like this is the mandatory seal, so you cannot lose this one probably. But pretty much she started behaving like a Chuusotsu. So yeah, she lost her seal because of this. Like it just like deleted her intelligence and stuff and physical like conditions and everything. Whenever the doubts arose within her about something, she would spend a lot of time uselessly pondering over them.
そういえばお母さんは無印なのに私のことを優先してばっかりだったよ。わかんない。考える。
Damn, too much of a bother. That was the final stop in her chain of doubts and turmoil. And it applies to everyone. There wasn't a single thing in this world that didn't feel like a bother. Much like how water would trickle from high down to below. People too would gravitate toward things that were less bothersome. In other words, they would take an easy road. That was also known as the pleasure principle. People who could fight against this principle were the ones who managed to lead their lives in accordance with their own plans. So, what was Marisugawa Arue's life plan? At first, it was to become government employee and helped out with her family finances, so they could all live happily together. But now that she had obtained her sanctuary,
大変だし、教室で空気の自分に耐えられないし、最初からこうしてればよかったのかな。
damn. And that marked the demise of the Marisugawa Arue life's plans. Taken to the extreme, it could also be called the demise of her very own personality. Laziness, faked illness, being a shut-in, getting endlessly spoiled by her family. This age itself was the source of the guilt borne by the Marisugawa Arue. It might have all boiled down to a single, carelessly uttered phrase. Yeah, that was heavy. Like, I don't know, like backstory, like personality backstory is heavier than I thought. Like, holy shit! Like her mentality got so destroyed. Like she was like such a self-destructive person. She's still kinda, but now she's like fully Chuusotsu, so she like pretty much cannot help but just ignore most of things. But wow, like this game. 1 second being serious and 1 second being just a Chuusotsu.
あるおはよう。おはようございます。さっきまでお昼だったから、おはようの挨拶するのって変な感じですね。
Yeah, I'm just waiting when this is going to backfire them. After jumping through space and time, they meet again at the Love Hotel district. Oh my god, once again. She went directly there, not doubting for the second that she would run into Koiro. She held even less fear for her unnatural phenomenon, or this unnatural phenomenon than she did the last time. Rather her positive outlook on it was becoming set in stone. Why? Because it wasn't something she was positively getting caught up in. Nor was it 1 in the 100 gamble. It was something she actively worked for. The synchronization of not just the will, but the heart itself. Once she was convinced she could accomplish this, there was no hesitation left in Marisugawa Arue. I'm just waiting when like one of them, like either Arara or Koiro, will decide to move forward. Will decide to like, hey, you know what? I don't want to repeat this week all over the time. Like, I just want to get out. And then synchronization rate is going to plump. Will not be able to actually jump back in time. I will like shatter the whole like reality for Arue. So let me just probably reduce this just slightly a bit, just in case. I think like this is better. Anyway. Yeah.
ました。というか、失敗したら困っちゃいますよね。また3杯級の人生に逆戻りなんてまっぴらごめんですから。
She let out a dry smile. They headed for the fountain plaza at the mall. Okay, it's actually kinda silent. 1 second. I'll increase on the OBS. Okay, should be better. Probably, maybe. I don't know if I mentioned this on Chuusotsu, but recently I'm having quite a lot of problem with audio. In like general, in everything. So trying to like fix stuff for now. Like, I don't know why it got like all messy, like everything. They headed for the Fountain Plaza at the mall. It didn't take long for them to find Kokoro. Okay, and she's still having the bead on the... instead of the plate. Okay. So it still happened. She wasn't alone. Oh! Okay, again, some different changes. So is she also actually time leaping? To some degree? Without memories, maybe? Ah. A middle-aged man with the layers of fat on both his belly and the face was talking to her. Hmm. Okay. I don't remember that, but okay. They looked on from the distance. A man whose armpits were drenched in sweat next to the cute little graffiti of her age. It was not a good match. And they looked over at the large man. He had the build of an orc, and his hair seems plastered down with grease or some kind of the hair product. What the fuck is happening? He gave off the impression that it would be better to try not to breathe around him. Yeah, isn't like Kokoro supposed to like have like part-time job or something, even though she's like still attending school? I don't remember. Yeah, like there was something about like storehouse or something. I don't remember. It was like in like very beginning of the game somewhere. How long after Arue, Goro turned to look at the two of them again. She didn't look at the man though. She took a glance at the glass bead tied around Kokoro's neck. Yeah. And they arrived at the room. Arara was relaxing on the sofa, yep, like last time. Okay. Meaningful way. Huh? She can extract powder? What the hell? To convert into science, of course, Arara, of course. Okay. Aw, she really wants to play it, whatever that is. And so they played. Oblivious to the passing of time. They had tons of fun. They already gone through 3 time leaps. It was the 4th week of the room share. They had various experiences. So what left the biggest impression on Marisugawa Arue? None other than the fact that she actually made friends. And the ability to redo her life, even if it was just for a week. Yeah, indeed. A sanctuary. A place that removed all outside pressures. And provided her with the iron wall to complete protection. As long as she stayed behind it, she would remain invincible and free from invasions. As such, this place turns more and more into a sanctuary. But we have like little differences in each loop. Like last time the guy from the arcade machine got bullied. And stuff. So, it's not exactly the same week, it seems. The day sped forward, continuing on from before. Tuesday was the same as Monday. Wednesday was the same as Tuesday. Play, eat, read manga, play, draw manga, play. Yeah, and where you are supposed to study. Yesterday was directly connected to today. One could also say they simply didn't switch gears.
鉄塔の調査に出かける。
へえ、ようやくこのゲーム面白くなってきたところなのに。
ソウルリンクシステム解明のため、アララはポイズンパルスをよく知らなければならない。どう？
ああ、はい。ララちゃんも出て行っちゃったし、オイラさんも留守。よーし、それじゃあ私も頑張ろう。もっと面白い漫画のネタを考える。
Yeah. So as I was afraid, like she's just stopped caring about actually studying and stuff. She was like studying in the second loop and she was like saying, yeah, I will use this time to study. Yeah, not gonna happen, like I said. She's just trapped in the superstition of, yeah, I can just redo this again. This has been Marisugawa Arue's style as of late. She's basically like this time loop trapped her into what she was before, when all the guild been like starting to crushing her. She's just closed off in a little world, in her own little world where like she just doesn't care about anything and just play. Even though in her mind she still have the idea of like she wants to be the government like worker and stuff. It's pretty much the same as what like was happening to her before in the past. Roll up in bed, lay down on surface to write on, and draw out a rough outline. And this is like the beginning of it. Like she still doesn't realize that this is going to backfire. She would pull the blankets over her head and work on her manga within its warmth. It was her time of happiness. Adding snacks made it positively divine.
あるんだな、これが。
She reached out to the massive pile of snacks she had bought. By using souling points, it was possible to buy snacks that even the most notorious of gluttons could eat. She had spent over 50,000 points on them this time around. She clearly went overboard. Yeah, they will not have like money for attempt even this time. Probably. At this rate, she would quickly run out of soul points. 20,000 points were required per attempt on the assignment. However...
また来週になれば復活するし。
Yeah, I knew this was going to be dangerous. Oh wow. This is going to be so backfire. This is so going to backfire. She justifies it like that. She consumes snacks. She gulped down cola. She gained weight. Marisugawa Arue started to grow fat, okay? And she's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It will go back. I will go back as I used to be in a week. So how would you like grow fat and gain weight in like span of like 2 days or something? It's impossible. Even if her weight returned to normal when she lived through time, her laziness did not. She grew fat. John Stuart Mill once said, "It's better to be a human being dissatisfied than the pig satisfied." Pursuing physical pleasures brought about the downfall of the man. Pursuing intellectual pleasures, carrying out with a free mind and agonizing over them were the things that made us human. Marisugawa Arue's current behavior was clearly and evidently.
決めた。今日から4コマに挑戦する。そうと決めたら早速ネタ出しを。
She turned her eyes to the desk. There were studying materials laid out on top of it. When I was hoping that Arue is going to actually move forward and stuff, she trapped herself once again. Damn. She fell silent. She moved them aside while clearly keeping her head turned away. Yeah, she's trying to ignore it. Yep, I knew it.
大丈夫だよ。
I knew it.
忘れてないし、ただ今はちょっと
Uh-huh.
乗らないだけっていうか。
I knew it, that it's going to be like when she was before. She made excuses for herself. 10 hours had passed since began drawing her 4-panel manga. Single-mindedly, stoically. She screwed up the sketch a little bit. The outline was off by a tiny bit amount, unnoticeable to an amateur.
ダメ
She balled it out and tossed it into the waste bucket. She wouldn't compromise, even if her fingers hurt where they touched the pen, even if her wrist was getting tired. She had never once considered it painful to draw manga. Like, one good thing that may come out of like this like repetitions, even though like she's basically closing off herself as she used to, is that she may actually get like she have like tons of time to actually practice her manga. So like I said, I really think like she should become like a manga artist or something. So maybe that's the way. Like she's going to regret she never did everything and stuff, but then she's going to realize, hey, that's what I want to do, and that's what like I should like get my seal for, like to draw and stuff. Maybe that's going to be the thing. Instead, she felt her fighting spirit climb up every time she hit a wall. Why couldn't she draw as skillfully as this person? Why couldn't she wrap up her story as neatly as that person? She kept mulling over it, and when even that didn't get to where she wanted to be, instead of losing interest, Marisugawa Arue would be left in a way by the sheer depths of manga. That was why she couldn't give up on it. Even if she kept it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, her passion wouldn't be extinguished. She suddenly had a thought.
公務員になったとして
Yeah, you will not. Like, this is that's unachievable for you. Like I said, she's still saying this even though like her action says otherwise.
漫画続けられるのかな
Okay. That's the next question actually, but yeah. She had a single-minded faith in manga. Those were the only times when Marisugawa Arue transformed into the dissatisfied person. On the sixth night,
ちょっと休憩さすがに
she flopped on her bed. After stretching for a while, she pulled out her smartphone,
あの掲示板
the anti-unmarked message board. She went ego surfing on the site. After the very first thread, she already felt like she just taken a hammer blow to the head. There's no need to let Chuusotsu take a revelation. Re-evaluations should only be available to people who lost their jobs due to inevitable circumstances. Only people who lack self-control and can't plan out their future become Chuusotsu, so there's no use in having them take re-evaluation. More like, they're stupid, so they're probably playing around all day without even thinking about the revelation, lol. Pretty much what's happening, yeah, Arue? Yep, flashbacks going back. Well, again, I knew this time loop was going to be bad. She stopped breathing. Her body stiffened. It wasn't because of the insult to Chuusotsu. It was the instant she saw the word revelation. Forgetting to breathe for a while, Aru exhaled just before she would have suffocated. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead. Her body felt cold. She reflexively shuddered. It was similar. Practically the same. Yep. It was the same feeling she experienced back then. I knew it. Call that. Wrapped up in blankets. Pampered by her family. The period when she allowed herself to do wrong. The period where she vowed to never repeat.
違う
And now you are like basically willed to repeat it over and over and over again. She swiftly jumped out of the bed.
私たちはただの中卒じゃないあの頃の私じゃないだってそうだよそうでしょねえそうだよねあの頃の誰からも存在を認めてもらえない私とは今の私は友達だっているし、
Okay.
家族のために
She glanced over at her desk. There were no study materials on it. Instead, there was the partially written manga manuscript.
これからだからやり直しはいくらだってできるんだから
Yeah, that's the problem.
これから取り返しが
And also, all this manga that you just created is going to be, like, gone in that your precious week when it's going to repeat. As Arue said that, she realized something.
そうだよ、やり直し。
I'm waiting. I'm waiting when it is going to stop working.
私はただの中卒じゃないんだ。
They like, maybe this is the last time loop. Maybe this is going to be like actually the end. Like I wonder, like one of them will like break out of the cycle. I feel a feeling started to well up inside Marisugawa Arue. Invincibility, omnipotence. Yeah, not good. In the past, Arue was just a tiny little girl crushed under the weight of her own powerlessness. But now, Marisugawa Arue had gained the support of the Soul Link system. She might very well have been an invincible Chuusotsu at this point.
なんでその大げさな感じの声だ。
あ、起こしちゃいました。ごめんなさい。ちょっとゴキちゃんが出てびっくりしたもので。
She doesn't like roaches, it seems like. She started panicking.
ゴキは世界統括者の手下であり、即刻殲滅すべき。あれは侮ってはいけない。
Of
あれ
course.
は四天王の中で最も強力な。
Nice.
何取り乱してんですか、ゴキごときで。
Wow.
いやいや、そこまで怯えなくても。
And she's sleeping under the bed. If there's a roach, it's going to find its way there. The dreaded airword was quickly scurrying past Arue's feet.
四天王降臨。
どうしたの？
Nice.
大声出して。
小色さん、ゴキとエンカウント。急ぎ、現世からのご退場をどうか。
Wow.
何をためらう。これはボスからの命令。古文、早急にゴキを私だってゴキブリ怖い。
Okay. Wow. And smash. She spanked it with a nearby object. What was that? What did she use?
振り回さ
Oh my god! What the hell?
飛ぶ。
Fainted after seeing the car class. Oh my god. Their daily lives were not without thrills. They felt neither too hot nor too cold. It was just enough to warm their hearts, and peaceful enough to lull them into stupor. As a result, Marisugawa Arue no longer remembered that a passion-fueled spur of motivation that burned ever so brightly in her just moments earlier. And so, she tried to trace back the footsteps of her memories. She tried and hurriedly stopped. Yet that was the proper course of action to take, in order not to lose sight of herself. On the final day's challenge, Marisugawa Arue wished for this. One more week, please. And it worked?
なんすかこれ。
Maybe not. She was frozen in place, in front of the soul dispenser.
どうかしました。
いや、なんかおかしいんすよ。お嬢様方がいらっしゃるまで
Huh?
ソウルリンク回数9回って普通じ
Oh.
ゃないっす。
Oh! Oh, it counts the activations between time leaps even. Oh wow, it's actually out of time loop. Oh, that's interesting.
よくわからないですけど、バグったとかじゃないです。
バグだとしたら自動的に本社にデータが送信されるはずなんすけど、そんな。
She tilted her head in confusion.
まあ、バグじゃないならいいじゃないですか。それより、課題とやらを教えてください。
Oh, so they did reset? No. On the 6th week, Marisugawa made a suggestion. Oh, so we just time skipped. Okay, we just time skipped. She said that they shouldn't tell Holo about the time leaps, because Holo was a member of the colleague company. If the company found out that the girls were using time leaps to extend the assignment deadline, they might get penalized. If the soul dispenser was shut down, they wouldn't be able to leap time anymore. it would be game over at that point, so they keep it a secret from Holo. It wasn't a plan for the sake of completing the assignment, it was the plan to protect their sanctuary. Their plan seemingly resulted in success, and so, on the 10th week, oh my god, Marisugawa Arue,
でき
leaning back in her chair, she stretched and yawned. On top of the desk was properly approved 4-panel manuscript. She stared at it with satisfied grin.
我ながらかなり面白いネタかも
Okay. She was enjoying her life of manga. And then, Arara came back to the room with Koiro.
見てほしいものがある。
She opened her notebook and brought it over, her voice unable to conceal her joy. Marisugawa Arue took it from her. It was the same old picture diary. The contents involved her going to the tower along with Koiro.
アララがね、すごい発
Okay.
見をしたんだって。
She pulled out her largely non-existent chest. Of course.
発見って何ですか？これを見る限りだとよくわからないんですけど。
Mm,
ポイズンパルスには指向性が存在し、
okay.
最初から説明する。今日アララはコイロメンバーを随伴させ、鉄塔付近を調査。
Okay, we're going to visit the tower, it seems.
装備はメシア道具やはり鉄塔付近は大きく反応。ポイズンパルスが強い証拠であるので。
花からアンチ社会的行為が満載ですけど。
しかし、ここからが奇妙。ペンデュラムの揺れは大きくなるどころか、この時点でアララは気づいた。天才だから。
Of course.
ポイズンパルスには指向性が存在する。かなり広範囲に作用するものである。これは革命的発見。次のノーベル電波賞はアララに違いない。
Sure, whatever you say.
はあ。
All the disinterested.
とにかく何かしらの成果があったんですよ。
Proud. She once again puffed out her fictional bust.
それで
Wow,
同
really?
胞の方は今日の成果を聞きたい。
いいですよ。
Arrow showed them the manuscript she just finished.
漫画
Yeah. Where's your studies?
4コマ漫画だね。これは
She handed them the manuscript. There were only 4 panels, so they quickly finished reading it. For how much work it took, I felt that was sadness here. But right now, the most important thing was that kind of reaction. Was the kind of reaction her readers would give her.
これは続きがその
Yeah, it's just some detached thing. They seems to be trying not to hurt her. It was different from what she expected. Yeah. The only character was the cat-eared poster girl vampire Mimi, of who she was very proud. First panel, I find myself lusting for blood on the night of the full moon. Says Mimi with the telling grin. Second panel, she walks around the town at night in search of the blood. There are various restaurants nearby. Third panel, she is stuffing her face with a strawberry crepe at the crepe stall. This stuff is great, wonder what I should eat next. Fourth panel, I've spent so much time walking around that it's almost morning now. I have to get back home before I turn to ash, Mimi exclaims as she hurries home. Reading over it, Arue thought to herself,
テンプレ
yeah. The kid for panel strip felt too familiar. It was just the size of the everyday life with nothing particularly interesting about it. Yeah, your manga made like continuation that was made for Arara. It was like much more impactful for them. Normally there would be more story to follow up on this.
書いてる時はテンション上がってて気づかなかったけど、まだまだ頑張らないとです。
どう
Okay.
漫画に一生懸命なのもいいとは思うです。
Okay, I like it. I was saying that all the time, like Arue should just became the manga artist basically. I should stop worrying about like being the government and stuff.
でもその
あれ
She's confused.
ああ、課題のこと？それについては半ば答えは出たじゃないですか。もちろんタイムリープで逃げ切り一択ですよ。
Yeah, this is the time leap when like this is all going to break.
そもそも哲学
They don't want to follow it
な
again.
いですよ。悩んだ人が行き着く場所が哲学なんです。まあ自分でも何言ってるかわかんないんですけど。
Yeah, she basically gave up on that. The two of them were silent. Marisugawa noticed this change in mood.
だって楽しいじゃないですか、この生活。それに課題とかクリアしなきゃいけない問題ってめんどくさいですし、とにかく私は続けたいです。この3人での生活を。
God damn it. Why you went back again? After they left Marisugawa Arue's room.
小色さん、ちょっと話がある。
Yeah,
あるへのこと。
Arara nodded.
プライバシーに関わることだから話さずにいようと思っていたけど。
Yep. Arara kept her hands behind her back and looked on the side, fidgeting. Koiro giggled. She couldn't help but break into a smile.
何？
では聞いてくださいです。アルエさんが何を目的にル
Uh-huh.
ームシェアに応募。
Okay. She told him. And now in the shopping district. Yeah, girl was making her 90 rounds. Okay. Still doing that. She had her face tilted downwards. Let's party all night long. The girl with the gaudy head passed right by. She was clearly still in the mandatory education age range. They passed right by. She didn't even see her. Koiro would normally call out to a girl like this, but she was lost in thought now, staring down to the dump of asphalt. Yep.
再検査か。
Uh-huh. And what Arue is doing is not helping at all to getting her revelation. She mentally reviewed what Arara had told her. Also, Arue applied for the room share with the intention of passing her revelation. The root of her motive seems to be tied to the past failure of sorts. Revelation was a way to atone for her sins she committed against her family as a result of said failure. However, Marisugawa, she knew, had an unending monogamous love for manga. It then seems like she had put any effort toward her revelation up to now. Pretty much that's the case, yep. These points made Koiro worry.
あるへは本当に
100% not.
かな。
100% not.
罪を償うってあるへは何があったのかわからないけど、そもそも家族とはよく
Nope, she did not. That is self-implied guilt.
遊んでなきゃ何をしても罪滅ぼしなんてできないんだよ、あるへ。
She mulled over it. Various thoughts floated through her head. However,
私には何もできな
I
い。
mean, you know, now when you are like actually thinking about this and worrying about this, and Arue is not together with you and Arara on this, your synchronization rate is not going to be 100%, so you will not go back in time. So that's a way of like doing something, I guess, because you force Arue to move forward, basically. Kinda harsh, but yeah. Like,
それは多分あるへ自身が解決することだ。
it's impossible for her, I think. Like, she's way deep into this hole. Koiro felt powerless. She felt the onset of the headache, perhaps due to all this thinking she'd just done. All that mental activity had also roused her hunger. Smelling something sweet in the air, she moved her gaze in its direction and smiled, remembering Arue's fourth panel manga.
すいません、一つください。
What shall would you like?
それじゃあいちごクレープを。
Okay. She bit into the crepe Crepe. The sweetness of the cream and the sourness of the strawberry made it for a flavor combination, and a slightly crisped crepe turning into a shortcake in her mouth.
おいしい。
Her lips naturally curled up into a smile. She didn't want to hog a flavor this rich all to herself. She told herself she would bring the other two here tomorrow. She grew excited, but the feeling didn't last. Thoughts of Morisigawaru's situation quickly overtook her mind.
アルへの問題は解決してほしい。
Yeah.
欲しいけど、その後また1週間前に戻るの？戻ったら、アルへの罪滅ぼしまでタイムリープって何？
Yeah. It's kinda a trap
私たちは
at this point.
どうしてタイムリープをするの？
That's still a mystery. I don't know why when you synchronize your time leap. I have literally no idea why they do this.
この1週間は
Okay,
い
yep.
つ終わったら
Yep.
私たちは
That's
ど
ta-
うなるの？
so Koira starting to question things. I was saying, like, when they are going to start questioning this. She didn't want to think about it. The thought of what would happen after the time leap terrified her. Her eyes began to wander aimlessly before settling on a certain storefront. She spotted someone familiar. Oh? It was the woman she talked to several weeks ago. Oh, this one. Okay. Wanting to escape her own fears, she walked over to the woman.
あの
What is it, young lady? Once she drew closer, Koiro was certain it was her. She remembered the ring the lady had shown her before. She didn't seem to remember Koiro though. Well, that was unnatural, but it still made her feel a little sad. However, she thought she would still try to make friends with her.
お姉さんはお嫁さん役の人なんだよね。
Okay, that was very straightforward from you. Yep. Some random girl just like walking up to you and just saying this. Wow. How would you? The one grimaced, noticing that Koiro immediately tried to make conversation.
聞いたんだ。
That's not what I meant. Why would you say that out loud?
ダメだったか。
Koiro shrank back after being yelled by at the woman. Well, mister, you heard her just now, didn't you? Sorry. She let out a long sigh. What's happening? What a pain, and my seal points were gonna return to normal next month too. Well, I guess now as good as time as any. That's right, I'm the lawful false wife. I'm fake who became someone's wife every night. As if doing her own entrance, she declared all that in a loud voice.
それは知ってるけど、潮時って
Huh. Yeah. You said all that without knowing what it meant, right? Well, that's okay. Even if you know who you're talking to, you shouldn't just blurt out stuff like that. It's an unspoken rule of the night streets. Okay, so basically don't call her that, like, out loud. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I felt like there's like something like, more like hidden meaning or something behind this. But this is just like, you know, just a common like mentality. You just don't call out people like that on the streets. It's just that. Okay. And drop. She casts her gaze to the ground. I mean, I just never thought I'd met my end at the hands of the clueless girl like you. Talk about karma. Okay, so why talking about this like out loud would like meet your end? Like that would like end your job and stuff. Like what? I have a request. She returned her back to Koira and folded her arms. The ring on one of her fingers glinted with the reflected light. Could you leave me alone?
なんか
Koira turned away with her shoulders still dropped. As she did, don't get caught by some weird recruiter, okay? As Koira walked halfway down the street, a sweet smell filled her nose.
そうだ。お姉さんにクレープ差し入れしよう。
Though she didn't really understand why, Koira knew she had caused the lady problems. I'm not sure myself as well. Like, why would like this conversation like take the point? Like, why would like this like destroy like her job and stuff? Like, huh? She bought a strawberry crepe as a form of apology. She returned to the place where she parted ways with the lady. There was still a person standing there in the exact same spot.
お姉さん
Someone else? She approached the person and stopped right in front of her. A younger girl now stood where the previous lady used to be. She seems to be around Koiro's age. She was wearing a red dress. No, it was more like that, like she was being made to wear the red dress. The size was so completely wrong that one would rightfully suspect the tailor to have been blind. The shoulder glove had fallen all the way down to her elbows, and her sleeves were completely rolled up.
ねえここにドレスを着たお姉さん
Who knows? An improperly sized dress. The girl wearing it was in constant danger of having her chest exposed by its dropping cloth.
そっか君なら知ってるかと思ったんだけど
Why would she leave? I don't get this. But this particular dress was...
お姉さんと同じドレス着てるから
Oh. You're wearing the same.
お姉さんと同じお嫁さんのジョブの人かとって
It's alright now. It's nothing. Anyway, I don't know anything about that lady. I'm just Chuusotsu, you see? She smiled and showed off the back of her hand. There wasn't anything on it.
そっかごめんね
Don't worry about it. More importantly though, you look like Chuusotsu yourself. Let's do our best to make our lives just a little better, okay?
ありがとう
Kaira noticed something familiar in what the girl had said.
少しでもいい人生
Uh-huh.
変なことばっかり聞いてごめんね君は
Finally asking someone
素晴ら
outside
しい
for
人
this.
生って
Okay. Ah, that's not something you ask, Chuusotsu.
ごめんでもどうしても知りたい
Wonderful life, huh? Let's see. Well, I could be totally off the mark here, but I'd say it's a life where you get to be the wife of someone you love.
な
That's nice. Yeah.
普通だね
Yeah. Huh? That's important, you know. Becoming a wife grants you the right to spend the rest of your life with the person you love. I feel that's what it means, take care of oneself. Yeah.
男の人を好きになるってまだよくわかんない
And how about someone who's not a guy?
女の人でもいいっていうこと
Well, I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. Yes, it's okay.
わかっ
What the
た
hell? Wow.
恋
Like,
するのは人じゃなくてもいいっていうことだ
whether the person you love is a person at all. Yeah, okay. Wow. So, like, this series is just like going all over the place in topics. Holy shit. But yeah, that's a good answer. Like, what is a wonderful life to find someone you love and spend a life with them? That's a pretty good answer, actually. That was quite a methodological leap you made there. You're a bit of an old girl, aren't you?
そうなの
Yep, 100% order.
そうなんだ
Koiru and the girl then parted ways in the busy streets. They'd only spent a few minutes talking. It was such a brief time that Koiru didn't notice the ring on the ground at the girl's feet. What? I'm so curious what happened to the lady. What was that? Did like nanomachines like changed her to like her younger self? Did she like just get younger or something? Did like machines can do that? For whatever reason, like I don't understand. Why would she disappear like that and like there would be the girl with the same dress basically? They almost like implied like it's the same person but younger. Is that possible that like these nanomachines that they have like can actually Like, just de-age you? Like, what is happening? I don't get this. I really don't get what happened to that lady. Maybe some of you knows in the comments. Like, what's your theory about this? You can let me know.